Hey guys, and welcome back. My name is DFree, and for today's video, we're going to talk about something that I didn't see in the news, but I want to talk about it. And we're talking about the top 20 characters in Legends right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Now, I haven't seen one of these in a really long time. If there have been one recently, like last season, please let me know. But I haven't seen one of these at all in a long time, and I almost missed this one. If it wasn't for the website, I wouldn't have seen it. But they used to do these religiously, very often, and they were pretty common. And then they stopped popping up as much, and now I just don't see them anymore. But what this is this is a ranking of the top 20 characters usage-wise in PvP. And this came out on the 3rd of August, so it's been apparently 10 days. This might have been the exact day that the EX Frieza Force minions like Raspberry and stuff came out, so there's that. And they're about to leave in a few days. I assume this season's about to end in a couple of days as well. So anyways, let's see what they say. Ever wonder which characters the world's top players use? I certainly do, and if you do, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more content so we can get that answer going for you. Ooh, plugged it, baby. Today's video like goal is going to be 800, by the way. Pretty easy to do. Representing the top 20 characters used by players who ranked Platinum or higher in Super Space Time Duel, presenting, number 79. We hope you find this info useful when forming your next PvP party. The usage rate of each character only takes into account players who possess that character. Only characters selected as battle members have been counted. Characters that have not been selected are not included. So obviously, I mean, I don't know how it would count it if you don't have the character. Are they like saying like the preview option on summons? I don't know. You can't use the character otherwise, right? Anyways, also, they're saying that so when you go into battle, right, you have 3 characters that go in, you have 3 characters that don't. I mean, you could choose if you take 1 or 2, but you get my point. Anyways, 3 and 3. The 3 that don't go in are non-battle members. However, people that are new to the game don't understand this or know this, but the Z abilities are still active, by the way, for those 3 that don't go in. All characters get all Z abilities all the time, basically, as long as it is applicable to them. So that's how that works. Anyways, the most popular character in the game, Super Vegito. Is anybody, hold on, let me just show you the top 4 or 5 characters. 5 characters. Platinum rank or higher. Platinum is the second highest rank, so you get there after rank 60. Is anybody surprised at this? Is there a single person on the planet that is surprised, not this order, but to see these 5 characters as the top 5 characters? Seriously. So these are, in my opinion, also, not in this order particularly, the best 5 characters in the game. So news alert, players above rank 60 like to use the best characters in the game. And this isn't me memeing this list, because that's really always been the case. It's just so funny to see it, right? See it actually laid out here in black and white. So Super Vegito is the most used character in PvP right now. Ultra Instinct Goku, Super Gogeta here, Super Vegito. Did I say Gogeta here? Anyways, Vegito, Goku, Gogeta, Goku again, and we have androids 17 and 18. Vegito Blue, tag Goku and Vegeta, which actually they may be a little surprising. They're a little surprising, not because they're terrible. I mean, I don't think they're anywhere near as good as they were like 8 months ago, but it is what it is. Kaioken Goku, SS4 Gogeta, Vegito, Tapion, Whis, freaking Whis. God Goku, or Vegeta, excuse me. Gogeta Blue. Huh. Okay, I have an answer for this. Trunks, Vegeta, Gohan. Okay, so I've got a purple UI. Okay, there are a few that are kind of weird standouts. I've got a pretty easy answer to some of these. And we also, just to go over the list really quickly, they also show EXs. Like I said, I think these characters that just came out, it might normalize to a point where Evil Boo or the tag Gohan and Trunks wind up being number 1, but I don't know. Raspberry's got a lot of power, man. All these minions that just came out, I believe, so there's that. Outside of that, we have all the old minions. I feel like Yajirobe should be higher. Freaking Hercule. Hero rankings, Hercule and Shallot. Nobody else matters. Surprise of the, what is the 3rd? Cyberman is 3rd? How? How is he above Nail? There's 2 Cybermen right here. Anyways. So we're going to ignore the rest of these lists. We're just going to talk about the sparkings. So the thing about the sparkings is, like I said, these top 5 are the best characters in the game. It's just like, in my opinion, in my mind, there's like these 5, and there's also gaps between some of them in my opinion, but nonetheless it's these 5, and there's a huge drop off to the rest of the game because these characters are so powerful. They're doing so many things. They're so oppressive. They're just disgusting. Now, the characters that kind of stand out a little bit here are going to be, and it's not because they're bad in particular, it's just because of the teams. Vegito Blue being number 6 is actually kind of surprising, and the main reason why is because Ultra Gogeta is number 3. They're both Fusion Warrior Blue characters. Now, obviously, there is some difference with teams like God Key, and God Key is going to be a factor here because that's why you see these other God Key based characters. They're not running, I mean, they could be running this guy in like Saiyans or Sun Family, or they're using Universe Survival or Leader Slot. You could break it down for each character that way, but for the most part, I'd imagine that God Key or even Future is where Vegito is getting a lot of his usage, because Vegito specifically would be the best blue for God Key, but as competition as the best blue for Saiyans slash Fusions, it's not close. Gogeta's a good bit better. Anyways, we go ahead and scroll down here. We also see Trunks, who is future competition for Vegito, who I actually personally would rather use Trunks over Vegito personally, which, I mean, if you choose otherwise, that's fair. So like you can see stuff like that that's kind of popping in, but I think what's kind of happening is the people that are using Vegito a lot are not also having Ultra Gogeta to an extent. Maybe they don't have Ultra Gogeta, so that really helps this character pop up a little bit higher on those leaderboards. Now, if you look at it, you scroll down, you get to 7 before you see any purple character, because again, there is the dual blues here, a couple reds. Now, purple's interesting because there's not a lot of purple on this list anywhere at all, right? So the top rated purple that we see here is God Goku and Vegeta. This character, like I said, they're nowhere near as good as they were 8 months ago. That's not really a criticism in particular, I don't think, because a lot of characters aren't as good as they were 8 months ago, because so many factors change, including but not limited to the boost system, also just power creep. Like, it's not really surprising. But I'll tell you, some characters survive well after the boost goes away. Some of them don't, and I don't think that this character held up really well after the boost went away. I feel like the boost was carrying them a large bit, but the thing about them is the tag, I think, is still incredibly powerful, and you can, like, I see a lot of hate on them, really. People just don't like this character online, and that's fine. But what I will say is you can't dispute the usage of tag and how viable that is in terms of giving you options, and it's incredibly powerful. So that is one of the reasons why they're probably high up here. And, you know, just looking at these characters, I mean, I guess you could make an argument they're I guess. I mean, between them and Vegito, and really all these purples are pretty solid. I don't feel like any of these purples are like 10 times better than the other. Like, you have some of these options here that are duplicates otherwise. So Kaioken Goku, another character, and let me just tell you this. God Key is like this, and we're seeing God Key character here. It's distinctly worse than a lot of the other teams in the game currently. Not a lot, but these other ones, like movies, with these two and like Tapion, like, you're not... God Key's just not as good as that. And also because, like I told you, this is the top 5 characters in the game. How are you going to take characters, 2 of the top 5, and I think Tapion's probably a top 10 to 12 character. Ironic because he's in that range here. How are you going to take 3 of those characters and then pair like some other characters that are all just worse and say it's better? You can't really do that. But nonetheless, though, God Key doesn't really have a same spot in terms of the competition wise. So I think that what's happening here is these characters are getting exported to other teams. Now, like, I think like Saiyans have popped up a lot, because one thing that happened with all these characters, I think Vegito as well, I need to go back and double check, is they for a while stopped really doing Saiyan Z abilities. As recently as like Kaioken Goku, he doesn't have it, but these characters all are getting like Saiyan basic abilities as well. So it's like, it's really adding to the Saiyan team, and that's what's really kind of popping off, is that like these 4 characters on one freaking team is insane. It's insane. And I think that also is kind of why the purple is here too, because when I run that team, I put a purple on just in case I need them, but I think that a lot of people are putting them in that last spot as well because they fit pretty well. You can put them on leader if you need to, but they fit pretty well otherwise, the ability wise, with the dual families and all that stuff. So they work pretty good as a purple. So it is what it is. Kaioken Goku, I think, is getting a good bit of competition, though, just because, not really color-wise. I mean, like, him and Vegito don't blend across too much outside of Saiyans. They have their own teams, and Vegito is a better Ultra. But the thing is that, like, Kaioken Goku kind of suffers in a way that Vegito doesn't, because Vegito is a character that goes neutral. He's got other tools in his kit that Goku doesn't have. Again, Goku is an Ultra, and his kit is Ultra level. He is really, really powerful. And if the meta was different, this is my point, where it wasn't Ultra Instinct Goku in every match, basically, he's number 2 on the list, or the androids that are number 5 on the list, 2 incredibly powerful and impressive reds, I think you would see Kaioken a lot more. They've completely shut him down to where it's really hard to use him. It really is, because they're in every match, and the cover changes and stuff like that. He can nullify that, but it's a comboing character like this guy. It's really tough. And the thing about Vegito is he doesn't really have cover change all that, or no, cover null all that often. He only gets it on the counter, but he also has the stupid neutrality. He also is, I think, one of 2 characters in the entire game that can cover a special cover change into the green card, which then gives him neutrality, which if he has a blue in his hand, your androids are going to eat dirt. They're going to eat dirt. They're going to go from green to blue. He's going to go neutral. He's going to just do a lot of damage. So like things like that are your UI Goku. He's a very uniquely positioned character. So SS4 Gogeta is a little bit of a shocker because he's not as good as he was, again, like these guys, even like 6 months ago, which is fine. I mean, he's a year old now. That platinum equip really saved him, but he's not doing as much damage, not tanking as well, and again, power creep has gone up. But again, just like some of the other characters we talked about, he's largely on this list because of just the fusion team's relevance. If you look at it, fusions have 2 of the top 3 used characters, and you're gonna plug in some other characters alongside them. By the way, like Vegito Blue is probably on a lot of Saiyan team or fusion team benches. I believe he does Blue Fusion Warrior. If he does, he'll be Zenkai buffing Gogeta. But again, remember they mentioned that if the character doesn't enter the battle, that doesn't matter, right? Zenkai buffs don't matter in this list. But this guy is probably your best green for that team for the most part. Best purple here, so you can kind of explain away some of that stuff in terms of the way that you're building your Fusion Warrior team, which is a very common team, right? Now you can always export a character like this SS3 Goku to the leader slot on that team if you wanted to get a green, for example, but most people are probably just going to opt for taking these Fusion Warrior characters overall because they're not bad characters, not at all. Super Vegito is pretty good too, and the support that he has is awesome to have on those other guys. And then also just the color synergy, blue, purple, green, yellow, like things like that. The color synergy works out really well. And Tapion here, I already talked about it. I think Movies is the best team in the game? Fusion Warrior? I feel like Fusion Warrior, I don't know, man. It might be, well, it's probably Saiyan, like I said, the top 4. It's between Movies, Saiyan, Fusion Warrior, Future, and that's like it. Those are like the only, maybe I'm forgetting one, but I don't think there's any more that are really in that same tier. I could be forgetting one, but I think that's it. I didn't really talk about the androids because you don't need me to talk about really the top 5 characters. You just don't. You don't need me to talk about why they're here. The androids are incredibly good, by the way, and they just go in the leader slot anywhere. So screw them. It doesn't really matter what their team is. Like I've been talking about, like these characters being on like Fusion Warrior or Saiyans. You just put the androids anywhere. Just who cares? You can do the same to any of them, but like the androids are devastating in that leader slot because you'll find as you look at the list of characters, there's not a lot of strong reds in the game. There's only really a couple that are kind of popping off to that degree, and there's some pretty decent yellows. I mean, even on this list, there's several good yellows. So like, you want to have a red in most matches because Vegito is the #1 used character, so your androids are perfectly fine. The thing about the androids, I will say, is that they were most likely designed as a counter to Future Gohan, the yellow one, and Future Gohan had long outstayed his welcome as a meta character. Like he, I'm sure, lasted longer than they thought he would as a meta character, and they completely shut him down. But the thing is, a lot of the stuff Future Gohan does that's in his kit, Vegito also does. So I talked about like Vegito's benefits versus the androids. The androids also have unique advantages versus Super Vegito that really shut down Super Vegito. For one, being naturally type advantaged, also having the constant endurance nullification on everything they do. These are things that were built into the character to counter, like I said, the other Gohan. And there's other things that they could take advantage of too, like cover nullifications to stop him from really doing anything on a defensive end. They just hit incredibly hard. Just the androids are really powerful, and they're uniquely positioned to also counter Vegito. And it's a little bit of give and take because the androids can also, you know, flip sides and be weak to Vegito, or Vegito can go neutral. So it's a little bit of give and take. But Tapion, Movies is really powerful. Also, Tapion's the only character in the game with that mechanic, which if you kill Tapion by chance with like a purple character, even like a neutral color character, anything other than a red, you are going to take a lot of damage. Your whole team will take a lot of damage. I had a video where I accidentally killed him with a purple, and I was using like Saiyans. I'm pretty sure I was using Saiyans. And let's just say it was this tag. I don't know who it was, but I knew that I had this guy as one of my 3 characters. He was still alive. He was at like 90% HP. This dude was on standby. He wasn't in the match. He went down to like 10% HP, dude. You will And as soon as I did it, before I even took the HP damage, I was like, God dang it, I made a mistake. You will take a lot of damage. You really will. Tapion is also like an actually good standalone character before that effect too. The way that he plays with the card draws, the ceiling, the cover nullification, he's got some really interesting stuff built in his kit, man. I really do like him. He's really interesting. So, and also he has some support stuff there too. Tapion's a really interesting character. They designed him really well. Whis is really annoying. He's going to put a lot of greens in your deck. He's going to be a constant support. He also has, up until Gohan came out, a unique mechanic of obstruction. Whis, though, is mainly just used as a support character. Nobody truly uses Whis for much other than that. Vegeta here, again, I talked about greens. Vegeta is the best green for his family team or for God Key and also for Future, so it doesn't make any... It's not a surprise that he's on this list when you talk about those teams overall. And he also has a good lock mechanic, so people are still using him to push Gogeta even further out of the meta. I didn't really talk about the benefits of Gogeta because Gogeta is... like, if you ask me on like a given day, which I think is better between Gogeta and Vegito, the Ultras, I can flip-flop on a daily basis. Because I think even though Gogeta's like 6 or 8 months old or whatever it is, he's so good. He's so good, man. Like, he does so much stuff. Like, it's actually stupid. So I can flip-flop on a daily basis. So people try to get rid of him as quickly as possible. And this guy's sniping, locking in, killing, or ideally killing ultimate is one of the best things in his entire kit. Also support across the board to God Key and the Vegeta family. So you're going to see, he might even support Future, but you're going to see him on all those teams for a very long time. Same deal for Trunks here. Good character on the teams he's on, basically. I talked about him having competition with Vegito Blue, but his gauge, endurance, stuff like that, still one of the harder hitting ultimates in the game. He's able to sustain, but he also is nowhere near as good as he was back with the boost as well, like I talked about with the characters that came out alongside him. And then these next couple are just, I can't really, I think this guy's a product of being new, because there's several better Vegeta family blues. Maybe people are using Universe Survival. Maybe that's what it is, because you even got this purple UI who shouldn't be on this list anywhere. Purple UI, that Vegeta, Golden Frieza, which you have this guy, you have Kaioken or Ultra Instinct. I guess. I don't even think that's like a top 5 team, though. It could peak very highly, though. Don't get me wrong. It could peak very highly with Goku and Frieza carrying with the damage versus these two Ultras. It could peak very highly, but I don't think it's that good of a team. Otherwise, you could plug in Jiren, too, I guess. Why wouldn't Jiren be over this UI Goku? Jiren is not great anymore, but I don't... UI Goku's several years old. Okay, anyways. Vegeta, I think, is just a product of that, though. Probably being new. Gogeta, just... I can't really explain this one away. He shouldn't really be on this list. He doesn't even have a unique equipment, so I'm pretty sure he shouldn't be on this list. There's no real reason. He doesn't really... I mean, like, I think what's happening is God Key usage there, but also, like I said with Vegito Blue, I think some people are using him because they didn't get the new Ultra. And in that case, he might be the next best yellow. I need to go back and look at it for that team. Outside of the leader slot, because you could plug in Tapion and probably be better off. Plug in Kaioken, be better off in the leader slot. You could really plug in anybody that's like a halfway decent yellow and be better off. Gogeta has that good green card that does the locking. He has the cover nullification. But and he has some good sustain. He really peaked, though, when Vados was meta, and Vados is even on this list. He could similarly peak with Whis, I guess, but... it was just really good with the way Vados played. She was like made for him, if you will. Gohan has seen a resurgence after disappearing for largely disappearing from the meta for a while, up until the anniversary. What happened with Gohan is people are starting to run more purples, are trying to run more purple characters, but also there's still only a few revive characters in the game. And Gohan is a character that has a high offensive peak and has that coveted revive mechanic, which is a high value defensive mechanic. So Gohan is fine in that situation. So it's really interesting to see the resurgence of this character as a 3rd-year anniversary and still being very relevant. And he's people's go-tos. And I talked about movies. Movies is also where Gohan is getting his play, his shine. People are using him on the team with these two Sparking and Ultra characters here, and then Tapion, and then Gohan is on that team too. So that's where he's popping off. A lot of times Gohan is also just exported to other teams in the leader slot. Last but not least, Boo is on this list as a brand new character. There's no other reason why he's on this list, especially over Tien. That's just a popularity thing. Ultra Instinct, I wonder if Tien was like 25 or something like that. He probably was pretty high because he had just came out too. Ultra Instinct shouldn't be on this list in any way, but probably being used because, like I said, the team earlier. And last one I didn't really cover was Golden Frieza. LOE is still floating around a little bit, but I think Frieza's mainly getting play from, like I said, Universe Survival as well. So he's also a very good character to just plug into other teams too if you need a green. There are just characters that are transcendently good, that do very good things, and he's also a character that can peak very highly. He is very glass cannon, but he peaks very highly damage-wise, so I can see why people would export him out and use him on other setups. So longer than I thought it would be, but these are the current top 20 most popular characters in Legends PvP. So let me know what you guys think about these characters. Is there somebody else you thought should have been on this list that wasn't on the list? Let me know down below. Hope you all enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next one.